I was having a discussion with a friend, and I remember reading somewhere that people who carried the sickle cell disease, so they basically had one sickle gene and one normal gene, so they were not sick but carrier of the disease, had more protection against malaria than people who did not. That made me think about what other type of gene or gene mutation do we have that give us an advantage over other people? Even though in that case, unfortunately, sickle cell is a disease, so the protection itself is not necessarily an advantage, but there's definitely others that are found that are true advantage that a genetic mutation gives a person. The first one I found is called the super sprinter variant. So there's a gene called the ACTN3 that all of us carry, but there's many variants of that gene. Some of those variants make a protein that controls how fast muscle fiber twitches. These are responsible for the speed at which we can tense or flex the muscle that are involved in sprinting and weightlifting. That gene was discovered in 2008 when scientists were studying elite athletes and they realized that most of them have that variant. Another mutation is called the super sleeper, and that's the HDEC2. Have you noticed how some people are fully energized after just a few hours of sleep, like 4 hours? Meanwhile, other people need to sleep over 8 hours or at least six to feel energized and rested. Well, it turns out that some people have a mutation on the HDEC2 gene that gives them an advantage and they don't need to sleep more than 4 hours to feel rested. So this is something that can actually run in the family and give some people an advantage as far as not needing a lot of sleep to be able to perform the same as others. There's also one that 1/4 of the population have, and that's the TAS2R38. That one makes some people taste food way more intensely than others. For this reason, for example, they may have some issues eating certain food like fatty food or really bitter food because that gene is extremely sensitive to bitter tasting food. And for the caffeine drinker out there, have you noticed that some people can drink a lot of caffeine even late during the day and sleep easily? Meanwhile, other needs a lot of caffeine. Well, they might be affected by one of those two genes, BDNF and SLC6A4. One influence the effect of caffeine on you, which can make you want to drink more of it, but the other one influence how your body break down caffeine, and usually it would make your body break it faster. Caffeine will be quickly broken down and you won't have any effect anymore, and those people are definitely the one who can drink caffeine all day and still go to sleep easily. Finally, a really interesting one is the mutation on the LRP5 gene, which is called the unbreakable mutation. That mutation can go one way or another. It can either lead to extremely weak and brittle bone, and people in that situation can have osteoporosis very young, but it can also lead to extremely dense bone that are almost unbreakable. Scientists are actually studying how they can use that to help people who suffer from osteoporosis. Finally, I've made a discovery in my research that I thought was very interesting. It seemed like a part of the population, mostly European, have a HIV resistant gene, which is a mutation on the CCR5 gene. After many studies, it was discovered that they are probably descendants of people who survived the plague. Not the bubonic plague as most of us know, but it seemed like there was an illness that caused a viral hemorrhagic fever in Europe for 300 years during the mid 1300s. Apparently, that virus used the same technique the AIDS virus used to enter a cell. So Europeans who survived that deadly illness developed a resistance to the fever, and the resistance that they developed to the fever created a mutation on the CCR5 gene that was passed along to their children. Those children today are way more resistant to HIV than the rest of the population. That genetic mutation is actually being studied by researchers in order to find a cure for HIV. That's it for today. If you have any question, leave them below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you. Bye.